Good morning. It is 8:49 a.m. on Friday, May 17th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis. I've continued my habit recently of kind of poking around a little bit, dilly-dallying before starting this video, but I more or less just got up. This is 5 more minutes. There's some good news. I talked a little bit last week, or was it just earlier this week? No, I think it was Monday, that there were some posters that I had ordered as part of my Phyllis Esposito Interdimensional Private Eye launch party plans. These are not posters of the cover, although I did have one of those made. But I also ordered posters that are part of like activities for the launch party that I'm having at Balticon. And there were a couple that I got a notification that it said delivered, but I didn't have them. And there was no notification of any kind that it was somewhere else. And it turns out that there was actually a malfunction with my building's sort of package lockers, and that a bunch of things had gotten put in there without notifications set out. And sure enough, there they are. And so I did receive them now, so that's good news. Now part of my challenge though is trying to figure out how to manage the posters, because for the travel to Balticon, I probably want to leave them rolled up. But here's the pseudo engineering challenge, is that obviously these posters are rolled into a tight tube. And so if you take them out of the tube, they're still going to be very much tending to curl up, right? Now, normally, if you mount all 4 corners to a wall, that would be the way you keep it from curling back up. And then eventually it loses that tendency to curl up. But in the launch party place where I'm going, don't necessarily have the luxury of a lot of blank walls that I can attach posters to. But I have these activities where I want people to be able to not only see the posters not curled up, but interact with them as part of the activity that I have in mind. And so I'm trying to figure out what is a way to do that, to have them not. So there's some ways that I can think of that would certainly work, which is to just say big pieces of poster board. But the problem is, again, the traveling to where I'm going, and the idea of having to bring with me multiple pieces of thick like foam board or something like that, big enough to hold these posters flat. That seems inconvenient, and also I'd rather not spend that much money if I don't have to. So I'm still just trying to think about what are ways, like, could I make some sort of a more limited pseudo frame to go on the back? Would that be sufficient? Like, what if I had some sort of, like, maybe just a stiff strip of cardboard that could go one on each of so if it's curled up, in the long direction, right? So that the resulting tube is in the short direction. If I have these strips of cardboard that kind of just weight it down on the ends, those would only have to be as long as the short direction of the poster, maybe an inch wide. And if they sort of weigh down the ends, and then just another piece that kind of stretches along the middle part of the poster. Part of my challenge, of course, is the Starla there in the chat says, you have friends in the Balticon area that can acquire and bring things for you. That is appreciated, and that is a good point to consider. I absolutely will keep that in mind. I think the engineer part of me is still trying to come up with some ingenious solution for this, but that is 100% appreciated. Thank you. in any event, I'm still just trying to think, like, what is the most inexpensive and easy to manage way to deal with these posters. But part of the challenge too is just, even like, I'm familiar with this room where the party is going to be in general, but I don't really remember it well enough to know for sure, like, are there enough places to put these posters? I'm not sure. So in any event, it might just turn into a whole big mess on the day. And if that happens, that will be fine. But I just have these grand plans. In any event, I will go ahead and probably leave it here for today. And I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.